Welcome back. You're watching Hope TV News Watch. Now, as I said earlier on, tonight I'll be hosting the KCB RFC head coach, that is Oliver Mangeni, as well as Levi Amunga, KCB RFC player. Karibuni sana to the studio. Let me begin by you, Amunga. I mean, first of all, congratulations on winning the Kabeberi Sevens. How does it feel to add this victory to your impressive record in this year's National Sevens circuit?
We are very much excited and grateful for the Almighty God for taking us all through to the finals and being able to win the game. We've been knocking all through. The first tournament we came 5th, the second one we went all through to the finals, but we came 2nd, the third one we came 5th, then eventually we were able to win it. And we are very happy and contented with what we got at the end.
How did you manage to carry on the momentum from last season, because you won the National Sevens circuit, to this year?
It has a lot to do with the quality of players that we have and the coaches, and trusting the process since we had already set the standards on what is working. It was just easy to come up and implement the setup that we have. The system is already working, so you just pick up from where you left and continue. Yes.
Okay, Coach Mangeni, you've recently taken over from Curtis Olago, under whose leadership KCB has actually achieved massive success. From Kenya, 5 Kenya Cup titles, two National Sevens circuit titles, 5 Great Rift 10s, 3 Enterprise Cups, and many floodlit rugby titles. Have you approached filling such big shoes?
Yeah, I would say that coming in to fill the shoes of the ranks of Curtis Olago, it's huge. But I believe Curtis has taken me through most of these processes. I've learned a lot from him. I've played under him. We've done so much. We've sweated, cried together, jubilated together. And I feel I have learned so much from him that it will take a bit of time, and with the people I'm working with, I believe its success is not very far. We'll reclaim the glory that KCB has always had, and I believe going forward, we just need to tick the boxes one by one by setting up a culture, and a culture of winning again, and just setting up a high performance setup that will get us back to our winning ways.
What are some of the elements maybe of Olago's leadership have you retained?
There are a couple. So human is to error. There are things Olago maybe didn't do well. There are things, but there are massive things that Olago did so well for the club. And I always be grateful to him. I feel Olago made players believe they can play, and that is one thing that I'll take home. Just getting these players to believe that they can play. Once the player, it is in the head. It's your mental. It's just having these players to your side. Yeah, so that is one thing that I take home from Olago.
Any new approaches you've introduced maybe to the team since taking over?
For me now, it's just setting up a culture. We've had a point where we've had players doing things and maybe coaches doing things just the Kenyeji way, and it does at times. It gives results, but it's not very consistent. So what we are trying to do is to get a corporate structure running, getting players very accountable. That is what we need to go by. Then by so doing, we'll get their mindset ready to play. But generally, it's just some a paradigm shift when it comes to mindset and culture.
Okay, Levi, how have the players responded to the change in leadership?
There isn't much of a difference in the reaction since it's just like it's happening.
Yeah.
So it's a slow process in a change, but the players are taking it positively, and it's a big club.
Yeah.
Like I said before, since we already have systems that are working, and have proved to work before. It's easier to slot in, and maybe if there's areas that need to be corrected, it's so easier to identify them and correct them. But from the players' perspective, they're responding positively, and they're happy to incorporate the new management.
All right. And Coach, has there been any significant adjustments maybe in the team's dynamics since you took over?
Yeah, there are normally, change is inevitable, and there are things that we have to do right for us to realize some success in the future. So we've had a few adjustments in the coaching team. We've had a few adjustments in the playing unit.
Yeah.
So we've gone leaner with our technical bench this time round, from 12 to 9. Yeah, from 12 to 9. Initially we had around 70 players. We've gone with 60 this time round. So it is on budgetary constraints and just trying to not to carry dead weight.
All right.
Yeah.
And Levi, let me just pick your mind on your journey, in the 2024 National 7 circuit. Maybe what are some of the key challenges and highlights so far in the National 7 circuit?
The key challenges were one of the most key challenges that we faced was a slow start. We've never started slow the way we started, because we started 5th on the first tournament. That's normally not how we normally pick up the 7th circuit.
Yeah.
Like if you look consistently over the years, you're normally contending the least to get probably number 3 or number 1.
That's the Christie 7th.
Yes, the Christie 7th. Yeah. But since we came back, we managed to be number 5 on the first tournament. It was a quick turnaround because we play over this weekend and then you're supposed to play the next weekend. So we didn't have enough time to re-strategize. But we went all through to the finals. But unfortunately, we didn't win it. Going to Kisumu, things didn't happen our way also.
Yeah.
But with our resilience and commitment to the cause, we were able to be victorious in Kabeberi.
Yeah, and what was the critical match so far in all the circuits?
The critical match, I'll say the matches that we played in Kabeberi, they're very critical to the team in terms of motivating the players and just showing that having the faith that you can still go all through was very critical. All the matches that were very critical to us, yes. There's no specific match that we had much significance to us than the other.
All right.
Yes.
KCB actually won the National 7 circuit last year. Do you feel the pressure to achieve the same?
I'm not under any pressure because I came in. Actually, when I was announced head coach for KCB, the circuit had already started. So anyone who follows sports, sports is not what you achieve on the day. Our results in sports are built over time. So our training that started in June for the 7th, that maybe the first tournament was in July, you can't, if you give someone maybe a job in August, you can't judge them by, you see, we are taking responsibility for anything that happens in the team now, but I'm not under any pressure. One thing I know, we have a very good team. The team is a blend of youth and experience, and we just need to look for a balance where we have to use these young boys and the experience that we have in the team so that we achieve what we want to achieve. You've just talked about critical matches in 7s. Just like Levi has said, all matches are critical. But for 7s, the most critical match is on the day 2. The first match of the day of day 2. If you lose that one, you can only be number 5. The best, once you lose the first match of day 2, you can only be number 5. So that match for me is one very critical match. And for you to make it to day 2, you have to win all your matches, or maybe lose only one match on day 1. So all matches are critical, but that first match of
On the second day.
yes, if you lose that, you can only be number can only be number 5.
Yes, yes.
Levi, how do you compare the competition this year to last year?
The competition, the way it's shaping up, it's quite tough compared to last year. Teams have really upped, facing a lot of competition from Cabras Rugby, Kenya Harlequins. Then the surprise of Catholic monks, they're also in the competition. Menengai Oilers is speaking slowly, but you can't underestimate them. Any day they'll surprise you, because they have been back-to-back finals in Kisumu and both in Kabeberi. So the competition is quite stiff from both majority of the superior teams. You can't underestimate any of the side. Yes.
And coach, which team has posed the biggest challenge maybe to KCB RFC in this year's circuit?
I would say it's Harlequins. It is a team that we've lost to more than once. And you see, if you look at what is happening at Harlequins now, it also has Harlequins has a very good team. They're young, they're very energetic, very hungry, enthusiastic. They just want to win. And that is a team that people should watch out for the future, even when the 15th season starts. It's a very good team.
Okay, you've talked about things being done in a quote-unquote Kienyeji way.
Yeah.
Maybe since you came, what has been the training been for the team? Any changes?
For me, we've had a challenge of attendance and accountability, and I'm just looking at having players in to train. You see, when I talk about Kienyeji way, I look at someone, I see clubs around where, especially the community clubs, where people don't show up for training, but probably by Friday night, someone gives you a call. Are you on for tomorrow's match? I don't want to run a club like that. I want people coming in, players coming in, training. Anyone who misses training, maybe get some other time to make up, so that it's not about just showing up. You need to clock in the hours so that you're eligible for selection.
Are there any fines for players who come?
So far, we've not introduced fines. You just miss your training allowance if you don't come. Yeah, because for fines, it's very punitive, and if we start that culture of fining people with a system that is not very professional, like I've gone to clubs out of the country where, like in South Africa, you miss or get a yellow card in a game, you fined 5,000 rand. That's a tune of 50,000 per Kenya shillings. And probably that is someone's gross salary at KCB. So it wouldn't make any sense for now. But as we build this culture, it will get to a point where accountability is the key, and maybe we can, if that comes from them, then we can implement it. We just don't want to enforce it on them.
All right. Levi Amonga, take us through maybe your normal day as a rugby player at KCB RFC. How do you prepare mentally, physically for the matches?
For the matches, in terms of preparation on a normal day for the matches, first of all, you have to know who you're going to play against. From there, a lot of things follow up, because different teams play differently. So when you know the opponent, you can prepare specifically for the opponent. But before you get to the opponent, you have to prepare yourself first. So you make sure you get enough rest. After getting enough rest, you have to tick the box of nutrition. Make sure you have something good to eat, so that you fill your stomach and be ready for the match. Have everything ready, whatever you'll need for the game, your boots, your bikers, your gum shields, everything, because these are things that are going to assist you. Pack them earlier, so that when you leave, you're going to the training, you have them, and then understand what you're going to do, so that what is required from you, so that you are able to execute at 100%. When you focus on them, you can focus on them, what you are supposed to do, and then how you are supposed to help the team, because that's very important. When you get them, and then make sure you're in the right state of mind, avoid a lot of distractions, not talking to everyone, go to what works with you. If it's music, just take a separate from other people, do music. If you enjoy talking to a friend, just do that. And like personally for me, I enjoy music. So when it gets to almost the game time, you just separate yourself, do music, yes, and start preparing.
All right.
Slowly by slowly.
Coach, what apart from the physical training, maybe any mental training for the players before the match?
Yeah, so we test them mentally through training. Yeah, we stretch them to the limit. You want to test their mental, and we used to have a psychologist who used to talk to them about their psychological issues, how the mental toughness. And you see, with rugby, such a tough sport, you need to be mentally prepared. So we've been having a few mental talks, and we'll have them continuing. Initially, we had someone come to talk to them about resilience and just how to be tough mentally when the going gets tougher. Yeah, so that is something we're also considering to continue.
All right.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, and Driftwood Sevens taking place this weekend. And we also have the Prinsloo Sevens. Two remaining circuits. As the coach, what are your goals for the remainder of the National Seven circuit?
Yeah, so the bar has been raised by them. Yeah, so you see, when you're up there, people want to bring you down, and I'm sure teams have really trained and they want to dethrone us. And going into Driftwood and Prinsloo, just like I said, the bar is set, and we still want to win. For us to stay on top, we have to win all the two. Failure to which, we don't want the mathematics of, hopefully Harlequins get beaten by so-and-so. What we normally say is, kila mtu ashinde game zake. All we need is to win both, so that we stand a chance.
All right.
Yeah.
And Levi, what's your personal goals for the remainder maybe of this national circuit?
My personal goals are to bring my best. I haven't been at 100% in terms of performing for the team and helping out the team. And I'm sure if I bring my 100% to the team and then I combine it with the effort of others, we will emerge victorious in the end.
All right.
Yes.
And Coach, KCB RFC has been one of the most consistent rugby clubs that we have in the country. And there are many actually upcoming teams aspiring to reach the level of success of KCB. Maybe what advice will you give those teams aspiring to reach that level?
Yeah, first, one thing I think KCB has been very advantageous with is just a culture. And if you have a winning culture, you see, there are people who say, KCB are just winning because they have money.
They are actually being supported by KCB.
Yeah, and I feel it's not KCB only that has been supported and gotten success. There are teams that have gotten corporate sponsorship, but they have never, they went down. I just feel there is that culture that for a team, for a club to stand out, it has to be very consistent, and everyone should follow it. Yeah, I've seen teams out here that had the money, but they don't perform. So I feel, first I would just want to thank KCB group as a whole for sponsoring the team. And for teams that are maybe struggling, I think it's just that aspect of proper governance and culture, and that corporate culture. If things are if the club is transparent, things are running the right way, and the little money you don't embezzle, there are books of accounts, people have to be accountable and responsible will go very far as a country, and it will even uplift the standards of rugby
All right.
at the national level.
And how do you see KCB's legacy in Kenyan rugby?
Yeah, KCB's legacy in Kenya rugby. I think KCB, after it's relatively newer compared to other teams like Nollies, but I feel it will, with the continued support from the sponsors, the fans, our fan base is now grown. I feel we attract, I think, the best players in the country. Yeah, so if that is well put together, I think KCB will leave a very good legacy, and it will have that tradition of winning, and will have a rugby culture that no any other team can match.
And what do you hope to achieve in the long run at KCB?
Okay, in the long run at KCB, we want, as a person, I want to leave that legacy of having brought players to believe in themselves, brought that culture, or that corporate culture where players are very accountable, they are very responsible for their actions, they know what has brought them to play rugby. And once that is in order, trophies will come. Trophies will come because I just want players to bring their A game. And that is just being accountable.
No, okay, so trophies and more trophies.
Trophies and more trophies.
Amunga, Driftwood Sevens coming up this weekend. What message do you have for KCB RFC fans?
First, I'd like to thank them for being with us all through the 4 tournaments that we've had so far. Through the ups and downs, they've been there, and we have to be grateful for them for that. As we head to Mombasa for the Driftwood Sevens, I will urge them to continue supporting us the way they have done, and we promise them that we will do our best to make them proud.
All right.
Yes.
And coach, message to the fans.
Okay, like I have always said, for sevens, our fans are the 8th player. Anytime you always want an extra player on your team, right? Yeah, for the 15th, they're always the 16th player.
Yeah.
So first, just to thank them and their unwavering support. Let them continue supporting this team. This team has a huge potential, and the reason they are supporting us is because just the same way people support the biggest brands, people support Arsenal, and yeah. So let's just thank them and ask them to continue supporting us. We'll do our best. I know at times we let them down, but we always put our best foot forward.
Do you promise them a win in the remainder of the fixtures?
Yes, that is all we promise. Yeah, we always step in any field to win. Yeah, so that is the first goal.
Thank you so much. That has been KCB RFC head coach Oliver Mangeni, as well as Levi Amunga, a player of the KCB RFC, as they shed light on the National 7 circuit, and we wish them all the best in the remainder of the circuits.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for making time to watch Hope TV News Watch. We come to the end of our news bulletin tonight. On behalf of the amazing team that made this bulletin a success, have yourselves a blessed night. My name is Kennedy Kimani.